Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in here on Shanna's YouTube channel. We're going to talk about positive relationships with families, such an important part of what we do at Head Start. Really, I like to believe that's the cornerstone of everything we do. You know, we got a lot of things to keep track of, we got a lot of rules to follow and all of that, but most importantly, we got to do those relationships. That's the heart of Head Start. So I'm just going to give you 5 basic things to kind of remember about relationships with families at Head Start. Number 1 is it's just really important to people that you notice them and acknowledge them. Did you know that having a sense of belonging is like the number 1 human need? Everybody just wants to know that they are noticed, accepted, acknowledged as a person, and acknowledged as the leader of their family. And you know that families just come in so many different forms. You know, in your Head Start work, you might be working with a mom or a dad or a grandpa or a grandma, an aunt, foster parent, you name it. A family is what a family says it is, as we always say in the family service credential. So again, we accept any kind of family. If you're the one that's in charge of that kid, that's what we're doing. We're going to have a relationship with you. Okay, so some of the ways that we can really truly acknowledge people is to use their names. It's really important that you learn the names of the people that you're working with and that you use them often. Now, some of our parents have names that are not, our mouths don't always know how to even pronounce. Do whatever you got to do to learn somebody's name. Have them write it down for you so you can look at it and remember it, repeat it or whatever, but get into the habit of using everyone's name. That makes a big difference. Remember things about people that they share with you. If somebody tells you they're just heading to a job interview, it's fabulous to remember the next day to ask about that or make a little phone call. I knew you had that job interview. How'd that go for you? Or if you notice that somebody has just gotten a spiffy new haircut, you might want to mention something. Hey, good for you, taking care of yourself. You look great. Really notice those things. You know, just random complimentary things, especially about a person's children or their role as a parent, just go really far. Mentioning to someone that, wow, your child is just so creative. You really must give your child a lot of opportunities to explore. That's awesome. What a strength for a child to have. You're doing a really good job as a mom or a dad. Really sharing that. You know what? Your child always comes with mittens and a hat on. Wow, you really work hard to make sure your child is safe in the winter and healthy. Those kinds of things, people don't hear them enough. They're really critical to a person's sense of identity as a parent, and that is part of our role to do that. So that's an extremely positive thing you can do. If you don't do anything else, do some of that. Okay. The other thing that we kind of call the funds of knowledge, it's finding out what a parent already knows about their child, about being a parent, and about their hopes and dreams, things like that. You really want to ask those open-ended questions and really find out a person's story. If you go all year and you did not ask once about what, for example, what their child's birth story was, or how a parent came to live in this country, if they came from somewhere else, how a relative happened to become parents to their grandchildren, or nieces or nephews, that's just part of a family's development, and you should ask about it. We're not all about being nosy, and you're going to pace that. You're going to have a sense of when it's okay to ask. But when you're framing that is, I just like to understand things about your family so that I can really build that relationship. Go right ahead and ask. Just ask it in an open-ended, non-judgy sort of way. You can never go wrong on that. That's the second thing, is really taking time to get to know people. That is a frame of reference that you will always have about them and will get you far in building that trusting relationship. The third thing is to do what you say you will do. One of the biggest things in building trust is following through on promises. That's how we all learn to trust. If I need something and you are able to get that for me, if I had a question and you answered it, all of those things just build trust. And, use good communication skills. We can't answer every question. We can't meet every request, demand right on the spot, especially when we're busy with other parts of our job, but we can communicate and say, you know what, I remember that, and could you give me till Friday on that? Or I'm not going to be able to get to that this week, but I promise you by next Tuesday, I'll get back to you. Really, that follow-up really, again, does all of those things. It acknowledges that someone has asked something of you. It really then really builds that trust because you were able to follow through on what someone's needed. You blow stuff off and you're not going to get what you need out of families either, because you know what? Relationships are a two-way street, right? We gotta do our part, and that way the other party that we're working with is more likely to do their part. So we used to call that the do what ditty. Do what you say you will do. Very, very important. Another really important part of building positive relationships is being positive, being strength-based, looking for the best in people. Got a cough here. Sometimes you're going to have to do some tough conversations with parents. Say you're making a referral, got to talk about attendance, got to really get after somebody about some health thing or whatever. You're going to have to do some tough stuff sometimes, and you really want to do that strength sandwich, and it kind of goes something like this. You know what? In the time I've been working you, I've noticed that if any mom out there cares about her child, it's you. You do such a good job to get little Billy to school every day and all of that. So I know that you're also going to really work with me on making sure he gets his dental done. You see how you're kind of sandwiching that? You're using a strength. Why does this start when I'm making these videos? Because I'm just talking too much. But anyway, that strength sandwich is when you start out with the strength. I know that you care about your child. You really want to do this for me. I need you to do this. And then I know I can count on you to follow through on this. And it just makes a really neat little sandwich right there. Again, it's just a communication strategy that helps things to go better. You want to really leverage strengths. I've counted on you for this before. I know I can count on you again. I know that this is something that's really important to you. Blah, 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 and we can do this. So the old strength sandwich. Kind of the fifth thing, again, is as you're working through that relationship throughout the year with parents, acknowledge all of the steps that parents take to do for their children and to even support you in your role with their children. My goodness, thank people once in a while for getting to school on time or for having, 90% attendance. That's work on their end of it. And none of us knows the shoes that someone else walks in, so you don't always know what it took for somebody to get there. So again, sprinkle those compliments and those acknowledgments, just like rain all over. Like it's what I call an affirmation bath. That's when you just really, really bathe people in those compliments, those recognitions that they are doing the best job they can. They're actually doing a really good job. And all of that. You just can't sprinkle enough of that stuff around. That's really how people grow. So, that's really, not much to it, right? Building positive relationships with families is just being human, being real, using your heart. Again, I'm going to revisit this, acknowledging people. Don't be getting through the whole year here and you don't really know somebody. No, that's not okay. You really need to have some basic knowledge of who they are as a human being. And you can start with, I know you love your kids because you signed up for Head Start, and that's where we're going to start. But I want to get to know you better. Really build on that fund of knowledge. Have you asked about a person's, where do they come from? Tell me a little bit about your family culture. Tell me about some of your values about parenting. What's important to you? What do you want for your children? What are your hopes and dreams for your family? That all leads into that goal setting. That's a big part of what we do here at Head Start. Do what you say you will do. Be a trusted partner in the relationship. And if you can't do it immediately, communicate about it. They know that you're working with a lot of families. You got a lot to do, but do the things you say you will do. That strength sandwich, never go great guns with a negative message or a demand or a judgment. Never. Your relationship will be over. Parents are very sensitive. We all are sensitive. You and I don't do that either. Strength sandwiches, like, I really need to talk to you about something, and I know that we have partnered so well in the past and that I have learned so much about your child and all of that, and now I need you to do something. I think we need to discuss his development for a few minutes. I've got a few things that I have questions about. Could we visit together about that? You have a long visit, and then you go right to the referral. Again, that's going to get you a lot further than saying something, something's up with your child. Whoa, we need to make a referral. You really gotta use your communication skills, people, okay? And then finally, that affirmation bath. People in this world need a sprinkling of those wonderful affirmations of them as a parent, as somebody's mom or dad, or grandpa or grandma, and as a person. Thank you for answering my call so promptly. Thank you for making that health appointment right on time. Thank you so much for coming tonight to this event. It makes all the difference for all of us. All of those compliments you can give a parent, and finally, just taking a time to say, you're a really good mom, or you're a really good dad. That is the biggest prevention thing we can do for any child here, and that's what we're all here to make a difference, right? So the way we make a difference is to build positive relationships with families. So go to it. All right, bye-bye, and you have an awesome day.